Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to today's AFK Journey video. So the AFK Journey YouTube page just released this new image of a Stargate station with a symbol as well as hashtag new hero. So I think some of the other creators have already covered it, right? The Vulcan, Barry, they already covered like the release or the confirmation of Talene coming into the game. But for today's video, I'm going to talk about something which I think is quite worrying for the long term of the game and something which is quite scary in my honest opinion. That is this release cycle as well as the accessibility of these new hypogean units or celestial units coming. First of all, I've got to address this from two different perspectives. Number one, from a spender's perspective with my main account, as well as from a free-to-play player's perspective, right? In terms of getting a new unit as a free-to-play player. So first of all, let's talk about the different ways you can get the summoning tickets as a free-to-play player. So number one, you can get the summoning ticket, which is the Stellar Crystal over here, right? Through the guild chest on a weekly basis. So if you're lucky, you'll get maybe like 1 or 2 per week, right? If you're super lucky, you might get 3. So assuming that, right, every single month, there's a very high chance you'll get somewhere between 2 to 3 Stellar Crystals or even 4 on a monthly basis from the guild chest portion. Okay, and then the next way you can get your Stellar Crystal is from the Emporium store as a free-to-play player. So 5 from Recruitment store. If you save up your Dolly's ticket for the Stellar Crystals, you get 5 from the guild store on a monthly basis as well. If you save up gems to buy it from the guild store, and then you can get 5 per week from the Champions Arena store. So 20 per month. So you get a total of 30 per month from the Emporium side. You get somewhere between 1 to 5 from the guild chest side. So that's not even a PD summon, right? You need 40 for PT. And that's what's worrying for me, because the other way you can get the duplicates of the unit is from the guild chest portion. So right here, I mean the guild shop portion, right? So right here, you can buy each copy of the celestial hypogean units with 30,000 guild coins. 30,000 guild coins roughly equates to about 3 weeks of playing the game actively, doing your weekly quests for the guild coins, right? Claiming your guild chests as well as doing battle drills. So roughly about 3 weeks, round up to 1 month if you are slightly less efficient. So every single month you can get 1 copy of celestial hypogean units. But if you take a look at the rate where they are releasing these new units as well as their announced rate of release, we are looking at a new celestial hypogean units roughly every single month, right? Or maybe 1 month next and then maybe a 2-month break. But the thing is, within the span of 2 to 3 months, as a free-to-play player, you can at most, right, stock up to about 60 to 90 Stellar Crystals if you buy all these on a monthly basis that I mentioned, right? If you are in Champions Arena, you get your Champion Store unlocked, you get 90, right? So if you are super duper lucky, maybe 3 copies from it, right? And then from the Guild Store, you can get 3 copies, assuming it's a 3-month release cycle. So that is not even enough to get the unit to Supreme Plus. And the thing is, in this game itself, you need to get certain units to Supreme Plus in order to see some power coming out from the unit. And that's why it's so worrying, because these units, they are not so accessible, and the rate of release is, I'll say, incredibly fast, provided that there's no alternative for you to pull for them other than through the Stellar Crystals, which is not very accessible for the free-to-play players, or you can get them directly from the guild store. But the thing is, it takes 1 month to get 1 copy. So this is something which I think needs to be addressed in a sense, because even for the Arena store, yes, you can get up to 20 copies per month. That is provided you squeeze into Champions rank. So for my Zeebo's account over here, I have never reached Champions rank before, at least for this account. So the thing is, I'm stuck at Legendary 3. I can't go into the Champions rank because Champion rank is only the top 200 of the server. So if you're in a more competitive server and your account is much weaker, you can't squeeze in and you are losing 20 Stellar Crystals per month. For a free-to-play player, that's quite a lot. And then when you combine that with all the factors I mentioned earlier, right, it makes it such that for players who are not in the Champion store, you pretty much can only build up 1 celestial hypogean units to, I'll say, at least Mythic Plus, right? In maybe 3 months, 4 months. 3 months, 4 months. That's Mythic Plus, by the way. That's not Supreme Plus, because After Mythic Plus, there's actually Supreme, which is 2 copies, and then from Supreme to Supreme Plus, there's another 4 copies. So that's a total of 6 copies, and it will take even longer, right? So from the base copy all the way to the Supreme Plus, I mean Mythic Plus for the EX weapon, it's roughly about 8 copies, right? So 1 copy of the unit as well as 7 duplicates. So in total, for you to reach from the base copy all the way to Supreme Plus, you need a total of 14 copies of the units. Right, so if my math is wrong, pardon me on that, correct me down in the comment section down below. But 14 copies, assuming you only get 1 copy from the Emporium store, right, every single month. And assuming, right, you're really lucky, right, you get like your early PT all the time. So 30 summon equates to at least 1 copy every single time you summon. Right, you will still need roughly 6 to 7 months to get 1 Celestial Hypogeum units to Supreme Plus. So that is how so it is to get there. And yes, there are ways where they can accelerate your guild coins growth, so you can exchange for more along the way. But my point is, because they are releasing these units at a very short schedule between them, and the accessibility of this unit is not high enough that you cannot summon them with any other exchange currencies, right? So one thing which could sort of elevate this issue is to just allow people to use gems to summon, right? At least let people have the opportunity to use gems to exchange for Stargaze crystals or Stellar crystals. Maybe like the exchange rate is 1:800 gems or something, right, to reflect the value of this unit, so that they have more accessibility to these units, right? Because now, if their release schedule is going to stay the way it is right now, like Fresto, Talene, and then maybe like 1 or 2 months later, another new unit, free-to-play players ain't going to keep up, right? It's the truth. No free-to-play player or no free-to-play account can keep up to this pace of new Celestial Hypogeum units. So the current way for most free-to-play players to play is to just stock up your Stellar crystals, stock up your resources, and if a really powerful Celestial Hypogeum units like Skalita used to be comes around, then you pour all your resources into those units. But the thing is, this way, it is probably going to anger a lot of people if all the Celestial or Hypogeum units turns out to be much stronger than their regular units counterpart. And that's why it is very worrying, right? This is from a free-to-play player's perspective. Now, I'm going to talk about it from a pay-to-win perspective, as a spender's perspective. Okay, so I'm going to use my main account to speak about how this is scary from a mid spender's perspective or a light mid spender's perspective. So for me, people who spend, I think, a few $100s per month on gacha games, they are like light mid spenders to me. So we are going to base it around that range. And if you take a look at the accessibility of Stellar crystals inside the shop itself, so assuming, right, you spend on the select recruit bundle, this is 1,500, so 50 USD. This is 2,200 bi-weekly, right? So this gives you 40. So every single month you can buy this for about 4,500 crystals. That gives you 80, right? And then this one gives you 20. So that's 100 Stellar crystals from the monthly bundle as well as the bi-weekly bundle for about 6,000 Dragon crystals, which is 200 USD. But if you go into the weekly bundle, you get more accessibility to the Stargaze Station, Bundle 1 and Bundle 2. For 100 USD, you can get 45. So you can buy it 6 times. So that's every single week, right? No light mid spender is going to spend 600 every single week and spend 2,000 every single month on this game to buy out the Stargaze Station bundle. So this is not going to be a problem for people who are spending that amount of money. But for the light mid spender who are spending maybe less than 1,000, right? A few $100s per month, right? It is going to be an issue because you're only getting 100 of these Stellar crystals from these bundles here. And yes, you're able to buy Stellar crystals from the pop-up bundles that they come out at when you reach certain stages, like for example AFK stage 1,300, for example AFK stage 1,700, AFK stage 1,000. They have some really good value Stellar crystals pack there. So those are really good packs, and I think it's less than 100. So if you are somebody who is a light mid spender, I strongly encourage you to get those. But the thing is, right, now moving back to this accessibility portion, right, even for people who buy the pop-up pack, for people who buy all the monthly and bi-weekly bundle that they don't spend on the weekly bundle itself, they still might not guarantee a Supreme Plus celestial hydrogen units on release, right? Assuming your pull luck for this unit is not good, you are hitting PT every single time, right? That's 40 summons, right? So if you want Supreme Plus, like I mentioned, is 14, right? You need a lot more summons than that. And then, assuming that the release cycle for this unit is as such, like Fresto to Talene, and then maybe in 1 to 2 months time, you get another celestial hydrogen units, Lightning Spender ain't gonna keep up. And it's not a good sign. Like, honestly speaking, it's not a good sign, because it's so inaccessible that, yes, for example, like I have a lot of gems saved up, I have a lot of rate up invite letters saved up because I bought them, but the thing is, all these units that were released, they weren't good, so I haven't been using them. And the thing is, I can't use this currency to exchange for the stellar crystals so that I can pull on the Stargate station, and that's why it's so inaccessible. And I think it is something that's worrying for the long term, because if you're gonna do this for the next 2 to 3 months and you're gonna continue this release cycle while not increasing the accessibility for players, then it is something that's gonna kill the fun for a lot of people, right? For people that want to try new stuff, for people that chases the meta. For example, Fresto is really good right now. So if you have already defaulted into Fresto, and then you have to wait another 5 to 6 months to actually get the next celestial hydrogen units to actually Supreme Plus. So that is the accessibility portion. I understand that this Stargate station is supposed to be more expensive, it's supposed to be more valuable, right? It's something which makes money for the company. But at the same time, what they could have done easily is to make it such that, you know, this stellar crystal costs more gems to buy, right? Exchange one currency to another one at a higher exchange rate, so that, hey, if I'm not exchanging for the normal banners, I can use my gems, convert them into Stargaze crystals, and then I can pull on this banner. That way it becomes more accessible for both the free-to-play as well as the spenders, especially for the light mid spender. At the same time, I think for the champion store itself, to be really honest, there isn't really a need to actually introduce this champion store only if you reach champion, because you still need 6,000 arena coins to actually get 5 copies of it. So if you're not even at the champions rank, you won't even have a steady source of arena coin to actually buy out these stellar crystals consistently. So that is already a limiting factor. So what they could have done is just release the stellar crystals to everyone through the arena store, and then just keep the price of the stellar crystals as it is. So this will also increase accessibility for the free-to-play players portion. So I believe in the future they'll probably introduce more new mechanics or new game modes to release more stellar crystals. But the thing is, I don't think they're going to give you like 100 more, right, per month to summon. So that's something which is truly worrying, because it's going to probably cause a lot of people to be angry, and it's probably going to cause a lot of discomfort for many different groups of people. And that's why I feel like I need to talk about it, because it not only affects the free-to-play player, it affects people who spend, but they don't spend so much as to spend thousands on the game, on all the weekly Stargaze bundles itself. So that's something that is going to affect the game in the long run, and that's something that I think should be addressed as fast as possible. So some way to increase the accessibility for the stellar crystals, so that people have more opportunities to summon for all these premium units, maybe at a higher cost with their gems that they might have stocked up, or with other tickets. For example, maybe 3 rate up ticket for 1 stellar crystals, for example. So just find a way to do the exchange and then increase the accessibility for these units so that they can continue their release schedules for them. So that's just my opinion, a very simple feedback as well as my concern video for this game moving forward, because I think this is going to be quite big and it's going to be a long-term problem, and it needs to be addressed ASAP moving forward so that it doesn't anger too many people. Let me know down in the comment section below what you feel about the opinions talked about today, as well as whether or not you're excited for Talene, or even whether or not the accessibility of all these celestial hydrogen units is an issue to you. Thank you very much for watching. Do remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys again in my next video. Bye guys!